Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, December 14th. And last night, my waterbed leaked. I just replaced this waterbed mattress. I've gone years without having an issue, and now I had an issue, and what is it, a month later? Close to that. It's happening again. To which my mother points out, hey, that's a defective mattress. And I'm like, so? Yeah, I'm sure I could empty it, take it back, get another one, bring it, fill it up. Sure. I'm gonna give it at least another night and see if I can find the hole. Maybe this hole is easier to find than the last. Then I could just patch it and I don't have to go through all that work. Like, I don't care that it's defective. I want it to work. So, that, particularly when last night I'm trying to sleep, very exhausted from feeling like I wasn't getting the rest I needed all day yesterday. And really, even trying to figure out, is anything really wrong, or is it like something mental? Like, is it like stress or depression or something that's manifesting physical symptoms, and not sure. And I just gotta say, after just having finally gotten over the waterbed issue, the fact that it's happening again, well, definitely has increased the stress level from what it was before. So. And I am quite sad about it. Not what I wanted to have to deal with. Oh well. Oh well. Just roll with the punches, eh? We'll see. We will see. Took off work a bit early today. Again, I'd done it in advance, just to give myself a little time to help, hopefully, reduce stress or whatever, and maybe I'll still get some of that done. But of course, want to do movie day, and I was thinking instead of one of these, West Side Story just released this last Friday. It'd be fun to go watch that. So, I'm gonna go up to the theater and watch West Side Story. I'll tell you what I thought of it afterwards. And I would give West Side Story 4 out of 5 stars. And it was good. Made me cry, but of course it did. Of course, spoilers. To start, I'll say what I knew going in, because I knew a limited amount of information going in, though I'd never seen the story. I was familiar with a couple of songs. I was familiar with Officer Krumke, which is a delightfully comical song that I've loved. I'm also, of course, familiar with I Feel Pretty. However, I did not know that song was from this musical. I did not have those paired together. But I knew the song, so I guess it counts. Just wasn't expecting it when it came out. I was like, oh. I was familiar with it being Romeo and Juliet set in New York City. Some sort of period piece, though I still don't know exactly what period it's targeted at. With the rivalry being a couple of street gangs. In this case, the Sharks and the Jets, which I couldn't have told you the names of going in, but when I heard them, I was like, oh yes, I've heard that before. So I think that's about the extent of my knowledge going in. So, we get in, and apparently the division between the Sharks and the Jets is one of racism. On both sides, of course. But of course our leads, our heroes, don't let that get in their way. So you got this tension going on. Their world as they know it is falling down around them, in that their neighborhood is being broken up, literally torn down to build new fancy homes. And in the midst of this chaos, these couple of gangs are just fighting each other. And on the Jets side, we have Tony. Tony doesn't really get involved in the gang activity anymore, having nearly killed someone before, spending a year in prison for it. He's had a change of heart. And on the other side, we have Maria, the sister of one of the practically leaders of the Sharks. And they meet, and they fall in love much too fast for any reasonable man. But you know what? They're kids. They look old. They look older than I think they're targeted at, but I think they're supposed to be rather young. Oh yeah. And so you go with it. And I'm loving this quickly blossoming romance. And my heart sits there, oh, I love a good love story. Wait. I'm sitting there watching, I'm like, no. It's Romeo and Juliet. And so my brain starts pulling together. Okay, who dies? Because someone dies first, and it causes this rift and division and chaos here. Who's it gonna be? Who dies? But in the end, knowing both of our young lovers, our star-crossed lovers, will meet their end. And so, like, at the point where their love is blossoming and beautiful, my heart is already starting to feel tension, because you know how it ends. The plot progresses. They make, on their own, marital vows. On, like, day 2 of knowing each other. But they both seem equally crazy in the willingness to just say, we're going to make this work. And throughout, they seem to hold to that. Would they have? Who knows? But in that moment, they loved each other. And I love love. So things progress. The cops know this rumble's gonna be somewhere. And we get the scene, Officer Krumke. And I was actually unaware that Officer Krumke is not some buffoon in the midst of it, but he's gone during it, and it's one of the Jets pretending to be Officer Krumke in mockery as the others are going through the whole story of that song. And just look up the song if you're unfamiliar with it. It is hilarious. But the cops are trying to stop this rumble before it happens, but neither side's giving in. And the rumble goes down. And our young Romeo, Tony here, shows up. So he wants to stop it. He doesn't want anyone fighting, anyone to get hurt. It's not worth it. And he knows it. Spend a year in prison, and that's long enough for him to have figured out it's not worth it. But everyone around is already geared up to fight. So the fight goes on. Tony's friend, the other veritable leader of the Jets, Riff, gets stabbed and dies. And in a moment of passion and anger, Tony stabs and kills his friend's murderer, who just so happens to be Maria's brother. And so when he goes to her, and she knows she's been told, he tells her he had to see her, but he's going to turn himself in. He knows it was wrong. And she pleads to him, no. Because now he's all she has left, and she still loves him. Foolish, but yeah, they say fools fall in love. So they make a plan. They're gonna get off. He needs to go lay low. She'll pull things together, and they'll run off. They'll go somewhere else, far away. Well, in the search, the police come by her place to get information. She sends her friend, her brother's girlfriend, to go tell the person who Tony's hiding with she'll be there. It's just going to be a little later. She's hung up with this cop, asking questions. But when she gets there, all Tony's friends are there, and they're racist, mostly. And they harass, molest her. By the time she's stopped, the message that, or by the time they're stopped, the message that she chooses to pass along is that Maria has been killed by jealous ex for her connection to Tony. And Tony walks out in the street, calling out for the guy. Chino, kill him too. This guy Chino, he's got a gun. And he's already looking for Tony to kill him. But now that Tony thinks he's killed Maria, he does not seek to live. Well, he gets his attention. But right at the time as Chino's coming up, Maria finally makes it. And he sees she's alive. And bang, bang, in the back twice. Maria runs up and Tony dies in her arms. And there's jets and there's sharks on either side as she is crying over his body. And there's a moment where you can tell they finally get it. It ain't worth fighting over. It ain't worth dying over. They finally get it. Just a little too late. But I know this is based on Romeo and Juliet. And she walks up to Chino. And she takes the gun. She starts waving it around at all the jets, the sharks, screaming out, how many bullets do I have left? How many of you can I kill and still have one for me? And she drops the gun. The jets and the sharks together work to pick Tony up out of the street to lay his body somewhere more respectable. She follows, The cops show up to arrest Chino, and it ends. She doesn't die. Only Tony does. Their love does. The romance does. But she's still alive. That's not quite Romeo and Juliet. And I guess I'm grateful for it, because I love both the characters. My heart's still broken for her. And I mean, that's where they end. Who knows what happens, but there's a chance more. And they play it up where you know what it's based on, and you think that's going to happen, but it doesn't. They did good. I liked the movie. It made me cry. It made me feel happy. It did all the emotional triggers. It was beautiful. The music was great. You never seen a gang of tough guys dancing through the streets together like that. Perfect. Loved it. It was a good way to spend an evening. I'll say that. And I'll go home and I'll see if I can find the freaking leak in the waterbed. I don't know. That's a new nightmare I'm having to deal with all over again much too soon. It's been less than a month. But otherwise, I'm gonna call it a night. Thank you for joining me, and join me as my journey continues. Bye.